Hi everybody, today we are going to talk about the longan tree. It is closely related to the lychee. The longan fruit is globose, which means it's a sphere and is covered in protuberances or bumps. The tree can get up to 6 or 7 meters tall. The xylem, which transports water, and the phloem, which transport nutrients, are outside of the heartwood and under the bark.
Like all plants, longan trees are autotrophs and use a process called photosynthesis to make its food. The longan tree leaves are covered in a waxy coating called the cuticle, which prevents water from evaporating out of the leaves. Under the cuticle is the upper epidermis, where photosynthesis takes place, and under the epidermis is the mesophyll, where gases and water are stored. Since this is a land plant, it will be eukaryotic, which means it has a nucleus in its cells. This plant is an embryophyte, which means it has a protected embryo.
Longan trees are angiosperms, which means it is a flowering plant and seed-producing plant. It is not a gymnosperm, a bryophyte, or a pterophyte. It is not a gymnosperm because it is not a conifer, cycad, ginkgo, gneiss, or any other type of gymnosperm. It does not have a cone. It is not a bryophyte because longan trees have vascular tissue. It is not a pterophyte because it doesn't have fronds. The longan tree is a dicot. You can tell it's a dicot because it has 5 petals and net-like leaves. Now that we know it is a dicot, we also know it has a taproot, 2 cotyledons, and the vascular bundles make a neat ring on the outside of the stem. It is definitely not a monocot because it doesn't have parallel veins on its leaves. Fibrous roots, 3 petals, 1 cotyledon, or random vascular bundles.
To reproduce, longan trees need a pollinator, like a bee, to pick up pollen sperm from another flower. The pollen is produced at the bottom of the filament. It travels up to the top, which is the anther. The anther and the filament make up the stamen. The pollinator flies to another flower, and the pollen lands on the stigma, goes down the style, and lands in the ovary. There, the pollen fertilizes the ovum, and it grows into an embryo and produces a fruit.
Because of the saponin in the longan fruit, some people use it to make hair shampoo. The heartwood, which is the center wood, is good for making furniture.